Hey everyone, welcome to my The Sims 3 guide. There is lots of guides for this game on YouTube already, but I've noticed that many of them are long or explain some things in too many details or explain them completely wrong. Everything you need will be linked in a Google Doc in the description so you can open them as you go and all parts will be timestamped. Let's go. Updating graphics rules. First, I recommend downloading the Sims 3 starter pack by the user now's PDF on the Sims subreddit. The files already come with various fixes like fixing the quality of body hair and tattoos on Sims. You simply open the archive and drag all of these files right where your main game executable is. The updated files also come with many modern GPUs already recognized, but if your GPU has been released in like the past 5 years, it likely doesn't have it and you might need to use the GPU add-on. To download it, you need a Nexus Mods account. So if you don't have one, create one first. Simply download it, open it right from the archive. Since it's a single file, you don't need to extract it. Click the folder button, locate where your game is, and simply click the green confirm button, and it's all done. Smooth patch. The savior of every Sims 3 player made by Lazy Duchess. Once you download the archive, it will come with 3 files and a packages folder. The 3 files go to the same folder as your main executable, and the package will stay there for now, as it's incompatible with what I think are really good quality of improvements for the cast. To configure it, open the TS3 patch text file. It comes with a few settings. First thing is the TPS. It's 500 by default, but I really recommend setting it to 1000. 500 is okay, but you're missing out on possible performance. If you somehow notice that it's not running as well, you can try lowering back to 500, but it's very unlikely to happen. Important thing is the FPS limit. It's recommended to set it to your monitor's refresh rate. If you're unsure what your refresh rate is, you can check it by going to display settings, advanced, and here it is. In my case, it's 75, so I will set it as exactly that. Another thing is borderless. It's really important if you want to record or take screenshots of the game, because by default the game comes out very dark, but to make it work you need to set the game to windowed in the game settings. Debug is something you want to enable if you're unsure if your smooth patch works. You can set it to 1 for the first round just to be sure and disable it afterwards once you get the confirmation that it does. If it doesn't, add the delay as the text file says. The Sims 3 settings. Once in the Sims 3 settings, disable full screen mode, disable object hiding. Make sure animation smoothing and advanced rendering is on. Now go to general settings. What you want to do is disable shop mode, disable lessons, and disable memories. Memories in The Sims 3 don't do as much as the memories in The Sims 2. The only thing they do is bloat your save as the gameplay goes on, which might cause corruption and longer loading screens. You also want to keep interactive loading screens disabled. And that's it for The Sims 3 settings. Sims 3 Settings Setter. This is a pretty new tool made by Sims 3 Fiend. It comes with various performance improvements and a more advanced settings editor. Most performance patches are only for the Steam version and the pirated version, so you can't use most of them if you have the game on EA app. Simply download the file from the recent release and place it in the same place as Smooth Patch. By default, to enable the settings, you need to use the insert key. But what if you don't have it? Because I myself don't have the insert key on my keyboard. First, you need to launch the game, wait for it to load, close it, and come back to the game files. A new text file for Sims 3 settings setter should have been made. Open it and look at UI toggle key. Go to the virtual key code site from Microsoft and look for any free key you can replace it with. I'll choose the volume up button. The value is a little weird. What you want to do is the calculator or go from standard to programmer, make sure you're in hex and type in what's after the X. In my case is AF. Check the decimal number below and that's what you want to type into the text file. First, you need to launch a world, otherwise the settings won't show up. Once you are in one, you need to click insert key or the key that you've chosen. First, you go to patches. If you want to see what patch does what, you can hover over it and it will tell you what it does. I'll enable all of these. We want to skip the smooth patches because we already have these with the lazy digest patch. And there are these 2 experimental patches. I'll enable these. If they somehow cause issues for you, you can disable them. They won't cause any problems with the save or the game. In the other tab, you want to enable memory warning. It displays a warning once the game is close to the limit of memory it can have. You can save the game clicking File, Save Settings, or you can reset them in the same place. CC Magic. CC Magic is a great program that I highly recommend if you use a lot of custom content, like I do. It makes loading speeds a lot faster, even if you have a huge amount of CC. Let's be honest, we need it because the game looks dated. Just download the setup file. Let's install it. We can now open it. And here's how to use it. First, we need to download some CC. I'll download this here from SIMS blog, Electronic Arts, The Sims 3, and we go to the downloads folder. And this is where you want to put your CC now. After that, go to refresh it. And as you can see, the heart disappeared from the downloads folder and appears in the program. And to keep your CC organized and tidy, we can add a new set. Let's say that it's for hair, and in that set we can make a new set, and we're going to call that it's for female. What you can do is grab this right here. After dragging that to your preferred set, you have to go to configurations and enable all of these sets. Make sure there is no disabled sets. It puts all sets in disabled sets by default. You want them all to be enabled. As you can see, there's a symbol rebuild required. So we just click rebuild. It takes time depending on how much CC you have, and it's done. And you have the CC in your game. There's more features like collections, and you can descriptions to everything. You can filter, you can enable, disable. But I recommend watching this video that explains it much better than I can, and that will be linked in the description as well. Make cast better. There are 3 mods for this that you need to have: master controller integration, and more clothing rows by Arrow. More clothing rows by Arrow is compatible with Smooth Patch, but what is it is a feature of master controller that I'm about to show you. First, let's see how cast looks normally. Let's go to clothing. And as you can see, each clothing item takes a whole row. It makes scrolling through it absolutely annoying, especially if you have a lot of CC and all of the DLC. What you want to do is go to the left bottom, right click, and a new cast menu will be open. And what you want to do is enable compact form for accessories, for hats, and for clothing. And now, when we go back to basics and go back to clothing, now there are 3 clothing items per row, which makes it so much easier to scroll, and it loads much faster because it needs to create 1 thumbnail per clothing item instead of 3. If you want to see these, you can go to create a style, and these presets are still here for you to access. Another thing is accessories. By default, you can only pick 1 per category, but if you go back here and enable multiple makeup per location and multiple accessories per location, you can now select as much of it as you want, which lets you create much better looking Sims, and you don't have to worry about any limitations. One last thing is blacklisting. Let's say we don't like this hairstyle. Hold Control, right click it, and now the hair is just gone. And if you select some clothing by accident, you can go back to the menu, blacklist, and you can clear the blacklist. And you can also export it and create a package that will set the exact blacklist in every of your save. Because by default, the blacklist only saves in this specific save. Additional notes: it's likely that you've heard about world fixes. Do not use them. Many of them have corrupt data, and that might cause issues with the game. and other mods and might cause worse performance. Another thing is do not delete cache files. I don't know where this myth came from in the Sims community, but cache files exist for a reason, and deleting them might actually cause worse performance. The only time you should delete cache files is if your game has issues. For example, your CC is corrupted, there are wrong thumbnails. That's when you want to delete like cache files, thumbnail cache files. Otherwise, just leave them alone. Another thing is RAM fixes. The game already uses as much RAM as it can. As it is a 32-bit program, it can use above 4 gigabytes of RAM. You can't set it any higher, and you're wasting your time doing otherwise. That's all for my The Sims 3 guide. Thank you all for watching. Bye!